Thank you to all my patrons. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Big Bad Bench. My name is John, aka Big Bad Biologist, and today we're going to be working on a Macintosh SE, or an SE30. It doesn't really matter, it's the same thing. So there's an SE sitting here. We're talking about the chassis today, let's go to this. Okay, there you can see. We got our III DIY cam going, and this SE has been cranking along, doing its snooper test. I've had it just going a little while I was forgetting to hit the go live button, but that's okay. And so you can see it's doing stuff, and if we're doing this, let's end this. You can see the CRT looks pretty nice. It might need a little bit of tweaking to make it perfectly square, but overall, this is a decent CRT. It's not a perfect one. It's a little tired. It's a little dark, but overall, it's fine. And you can see that the edges, right, are square. Let's close this off. And so I mentioned in my description that there's something about a bulge that happens, and so this analog board is a good analog board. So this is showing you that we're working with a good system. And so over here, if you look on the left, or if we move this over to the right, on the next system, you'll see that the edge just bulges out a little bit when we have bright stuff on the screen. Let's make this the full width like that. So you can see this guy's fine. Okay, so let's shut this down, and I'm wearing gloves today. That's just because we're dealing with high voltage, and it'll help reduce the probability of me getting totally shocked. I don't know why this is looking so bright today. A little bit, just a little bit. There's a good chance I'm still gonna shock the heck out of myself. So today, in particular, never do anything that you see me do here at the Big Bad Bench, because there's always the chance of danger, especially when we're dealing with high voltages inside of a CRT. Okay, so just don't do this. Don't do any of this. But we're gonna do it. So that's what's gonna happen here. So let me say hi to folks in the chat as I start disassembling this. We got Dave's Vintage Apple Tech. We got All Things DG. We got Hardware Hacker. We got Chris Angelis, Garth Beagle. There's a mini gravity well that causes the distortion. Well, I think that's actually, isn't that how flyback transformers work? I'm not a scientist or anything, but flyback transformers seem kind of like a special kind of dealy, so it could be that. Let's see, Jack68K, hello. Eric Sedge, hello. Mr. Tech Gadget, hello. Who else is here? 1-Bit Fever Dreams, hello. Starbuck Tech, hello. Okay, so come on, this guy, this anode is kind of wonky, so I'm just gonna short that out on the ground, just in case. Normally when you're dealing with an SE, it should automatically discharge itself. Who did I just see? Mr. Tech Gadget says, oh, I really need to get back to recapping my SE30. Yes, if you have an SE30, for the love of God, recap that thing. Okay, so what we're gonna do, why is this so blown out? Oh my gosh. Sorry, 1 second, please. Blue? Oh God, that's not good. That's not good. Nope. What the heck? Oh, now it's dark in here. That looks pretty good. That's okay. I like that. This is kind of yellow, so that's what we should be seeing. Okay, so we can see we have 8 total screws over here that we need to deal with. If you're talking about recapping the analog board or the power supply, that's not as urgent for a SE30, but the logic board. Oh, those need to be done ASAP. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this one on there. I'm gonna get rid of all the outer ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are what hold the analog board onto the chassis. I guess we'll take off this blue SCSI. Okay, so we have our power supply screws still in. With an SE, I guess I can show you here. Let's pull off these real quick. Oh, well actually we're gonna have to pull them all off because we're gonna be unsoldering parts off of this analog board because we know this is a good analog board. So let's take our protective cover off. So with an SE, the very first thing, before you do anything, you typically don't have to worry about recapping. The main thing you need to do is reflow all of these solder joints, and you can see these are actually, someone has been in this one before. Yeah, this one has been reflowed. You can see there's lots of flux. The solder joints are not very even. Yeah, you can see they did all there, all that. But it's working, so that's something. They tried, and it's Mac 84. Hello. All right, so let's pop this off. Let's loosen that, and then we're gonna flip this up on its back. So you don't want to just totally loosen, and while you have that on its side, you don't want to totally loosen your power supply because it can kind of fall down inside here. As Jack68K says, recap your SE30 and 2CI logic boards. I'll throw in 2VX. We'll talk about my 2VX misadventures eventually today. Okay, so we're gonna pop off our Yoki dealy and our power supply. We're gonna leave that power supply in there. And we're just gonna take this stuff along with us and set you over for the side. Okay, yeah, I have a note here. Display widens. So, this is a more different analog board. You can see it's not the same one because it has a cover on it. We took the cover off of the other one. This one says SE30 number 4. Oh, the other thing about this is you can see it's been recapped. So when this was being wonky, the first thing I did was recap this thing. And so the second thing I did was recap it. The first thing I did was reflow all those solder joints that I told you to reflow. The second thing I did was recap it. And I tried some different power supplies. The nice thing about the SE or the SE30 is you can swap out your power supplies relatively easily. So when you're putting these back together, put your power supply connector in first because that one's really up in there and very difficult to get to when you're doing stuff. Yes, and as Gar says, get those batteries out. And Steve had a stream last night. I can't suggest it, although I know if Steve did a stream, you definitely don't want to miss it. But I haven't watched it, so I'm sure I'll recommend it eventually. Definitely always go back and watch those. Okay, then this one's all up in here. And there will be part 2. Well, that's good. You never just want to have part 1. I saw it, I think, was it Gutbaum or Garth that made a little a clip of one of your bits going off into the nether. Okay, all of our bits. This is always typically the last thing I'm going to put on the neck board. Okay, and then before we turn this on its side, I'm going to stick in a power supply screw. You'll notice we have two types of screws, machine thread and sheet metal. The machine threads go into the power supply. I think these are 3mm screws. And sorry, showing you this, just doing that real quick. Okay, so yeah, it's a lot easier to put this all back together if you keep the power supply separate from the analog board when you do this. Okay, set that aside, and you can see I put those two screws in right there. And now we'll put this little guy on so that people on the internet won't yell at me. Ooh, I noticed I didn't have this screw in all the way. Always make sure your power supply grounding strap is on. You all didn't see that. No, it was totally on. It was fine. That was fine. Everything was fine. Oh, I should have asked someone to time me. See how quick it takes me to swap an analog board on a Mac SE or SE30. This particular SE, the other thing is when you're putting your analog boards in, the most important bit is to line up your brightness knob down there. Hey, and it's Trina's Technobabble. Hello, Trina. Okay. And yeah, we're using our sheet metal screws to go into the chassis. We're using our machine screws to go into the power supply. Okay, make sure that your analog board is in these little bits here so that it all sits in there nicely. Make sure that your brightness knob works. And then tighten everything all up. I like to put all my screws in first and then tighten them all up once they're in. Make sure that your analog board is sitting in those little grooves. Every once in a while I forget to do that and it bends it all out and it does bad things. Don't do bad things to your analog boards. Okay, is everything tight? Did I miss anything? And then flip this back up. All right, now I'm gonna put the neck board on. Double check that you've actually plugged everything in. One of the things I totally did not do this morning was left the anode cap just dangling when I powered on one of my computers this morning. I didn't do that. I totally did not do that. But yeah, make sure that your neck board's on, your ground's on, your anode, your yoke thingies in there. It looks like we're all connected and good to go. Yeah, it gets a little zappy when you forget to do that. Very, very dangerous. Okay. Oh, and I guess I haven't shown this. This is a nice little Mac SE super drive or FDHD. Well, I mean, technically it's a super drive because that's what it says, but it's the same as an FDHD. This one's been retro-brighted. It's a nice little machine. It'll be up for sale soon if you happen to be in New England. If I can make sure that it works properly. Okay, we got a mouse in, we got that. Electricity. And 3, 2, 1. Hello, Penny MMX. What causes a Mac LC2 to make a high-pitched sound from the speaker when running? Has it been recapped? That is always number one. My very first YouTube video was recapping an LC3 because it was making screaming noises. Let's go to IIDIY cam. All right, so here you go. See this? See this little bulge? See it? I don't know how it maybe isn't clear, and it probably isn't all that, and you can kind of see it out over here too, right? As we move this, you'll see that little bulge go along with it. Down there, little bulge, and it pops out over here too. Oh, it's definitely more evident down over there. See that? See that? And so we know, right, this is not a logic board problem. This is not a power supply problem because we use the same exact chassis. This is not a CRT problem. This is purely due to the analog board because that's the only thing that we just swapped. And it's not that bad. The other thing is if you brighten, oh yeah, this one is a little brighter. It might make it a little bit more evident if we brighten it. So, and then if you turn down the brightness, it kind of goes away, the bulge goes away. So Technite suggested that this is a bad, or the flyback is starting to go, which kind of sucks because if the flyback goes, we're done. You can see how it bulged out when we did that. All right, so let's shut this down, and we're gonna start swapping parts. I think that's really the only way we can go about doing this. All right, Chris Angela sees it. That's good. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's go back to here. Okie dokie. So, what should we do first? I think we should just go to the flyback. Let's fly back this mofo. Let's go to zoom out. Make sure we can see everything here. Okay. These little guys. You can see this one has been reflowed. I think I reflowed this one. It looks a little bit neater than the other one. I think, I don't know, I guess. I don't know. What do you think the best route to take this off is? Probably use the solder gun, the desoldering gun. And if you've watched Rudy's excellent video on how to use a desoldering gun, you should always do it on the side. So I'm sorry this isn't going to be the easiest thing. Maybe if we cram a battery underneath here, you can kind of sort of see that. That works. More commonly see flyback die in LG Shadow Mask, Apple monitors. I mean, so the thing is, these are old machines, right? The older they are, the longer they've been running. It's a analog part that's eventually gonna wear out. Oh, this one actually, I think I put silicon on that. That's interesting. What are the other potential parts in here? We got this guy, some sort of transistor. We got this guy, that's a big honking diode. Got another big honking diode there. Got some caps, but see, these are all original caps on this one, right? All the stuff's there. This has not been recapped. I don't know. I think if it's not the flyback, my next thing is gonna be that little transistor dealy. But yeah, that's what we're working with here. What do you all think? Does anyone have any ideas about what it could be? I just emptied my desoldering gun today. Look how nice and clean that is. It never looks that clean. It's like, I'm gonna be desoldering a lot of junk today. that it? Are we out? Is there one more? Yep, one more. There we go. I made short work of that. That's cool. I don't think I've ever desoldered a flyback before. Fun. Here, I'll show you this one a little bit more. So the reason you want to do this as horizontally as possible is it helps like to not fight gravity in addition to just pulling the solder through the thing. We could also use our solder pult. Oof. That is some ugly flux. That is some crusty, ugly flux. Okay, that guy's out. All right, so we'll set our good analog board down on the side. Uh-oh. Which one's which? I think it's this one. Are these the same part number? No. This is 1570042B. This one's 1570026C. Interesting. Turn our soldering iron on. Gonna line these up. We're gonna go in. We're gonna do this. There we go. We're in. Okay, so I'm gonna solder down. Let's use giant old solder. Gonna do one here, push that up. Do another one here. Sorry, this is not easy to show what I'm doing right now, but I'll show you in just a second. And we'll do this guy. You should be using a soldering iron larger than this one. But like I said, I'm an idiot, so there we go. Just sucking the heat right away out of my tip. Lots of copper here. Gonna just make sure that's up in there tight. I'll come back. Oof, yeah, where my thumb is very hot. See all this smoke? Don't breathe that smoke in. Always use your fume extractor. Like I said, don't do anything you see me do. Oh, that one doesn't have a thing to solder to. Okay, fine. One Bit Fever Dream says, wear your Fallout suit. With, like, as far as me wearing PPE, personal protective equipment, wearing gloves is like basically a Fallout suit. No, Steve. That's the one thing to do. Wear gloves. Wear gloves sometimes. That's the wrong message. Okay. Jack68K says, do you have a fume extractor? No, I do not have a fume extractor, but my workshop is basically a barn. So the airflow in here is pretty much connected to outside. So we're okay. We're okay. Did I put the wrong one on? Did anyone check? Did I put the same flyback back on this one? No, I remember. Okay. Yeah, no, this one had stuff on it. Okay, so there's our old flyback. Let's live. No. All right. I'll be a good influence. Let's put our plastic back on here. Let's put our plastic back on here. Definitely don't want to leave that and shock the heck out of yourself. Not that I've ever done that. Nope. Okay. Garth is impressionable. Okay. Okay. What do y'all think? Is this gonna do it? Is this gonna do it? 3, 2, 1. Ooh, some dust came out. You can see that the dimensions are slightly different. That's why there's all the adjustments. I think that wiggle's gone, but let's up our brightness a scotch. I think this is tuned a little low. Oh, that's too much. It's about as much as we can get out of this. Yeah, well, I think that fixed it. Maybe there's a little bit of bulging. Yeah, I kind of see it on the right too. Let's let that warm up for a second. Let me grab something else real quick. I think it's still bulging on the right. But the left is fine. One thing I looked in the dead max scrolls and I didn't see anything that looked exactly like this. There was something the right side of the display wiggles. Oh, let's make it a little wider. Oh, so I don't have tools that make it wider very easily. It's a good fume extractor. Let's see. Oh, that's working. Let's see if we drive it a little bit harder, if that's gonna make the wiggle happen. I'm gonna also adjust that. Oh, no. Oh, I hate adjusting this. So there's the little nubs on the CRT that help you adjust the centering rings. And one of them is broken off. So this one is kind of odd. Let's see here. Oh, I got stuff in my way. I can't see what I'm working on. Okay. Now that I made that a little wider, yeah, I'm definitely seeing it on the right more so than the left. All right, well, let's try swapping another dealie. So that seems to have fixed the left side, but not the right side so much. That's interesting. All right, so let's shut this down. Go back to here, unplug you. Put that, take this off. All right. So what is this guy called? Oh man, he's on a screw. We've got a big diode jobby there. We got a little big diode jobby here. Let's try this diode. Did I just pull the wrong? Oh no, this was my good. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna write good on this one just because. Good. I keep forgetting, which I have another one sitting over here, but that's not the right thing. All right, let's pull this diode out of here and see what that does. That is correct. Pentium MMX. Finding diode replacements, or not diode replacements, flyback replacements is not an easy task. All right, sorry, I shouldn't have shut my thing off there. Oh, this is interesting. So this has a very different diode than the one that's on there. What is this guy? 406D. Let's take it off. Why the heck not? Okay, this one is isolated from ground. Let's remember that. You do not want to put one of those in. Is this the horizontal output? Hey, it's David Starbuck. Hello. The horizontal output transistor? Let's just take all these off. Take this diode off while we're taking bits off. We can always put stuff back together, right? Take this diode off. Big slabs of copper on these things, so be patient. Whoop. There's one diode. So these are all the parts that I think would most likely contribute to this. That is a whole lot of metal. Hope everyone had a good Halloween yesterday. I posted on the social media last night about my thing from last year that I did when I was working on the Mac 2VX, and I had my candy that I found. Had a clip from my stream from last. It would have been basically today's stream. Okay. All right. So that's all the important bits. I think those are all the important bits there. There are a couple more smaller diodes there. A little resistor. Diodes are important. Diodes are important. All right. So we're gonna do this diode first, the one that's inside the cage. Caged diode. So yeah, I've been working on the Macintosh 2VX that I picked up from MIT Swap Fest, and it is cursed. So I thought it was kind of weird that I was working on a cursed 2VX last year, and I'm working on another cursed 2VX this year, both around Easter, both around Halloween. Okay, so let's just double check which direction this diode goes. Oh. This is a very different diode. So this is the one that was there. MR824. GI826. Interesting. They were all bent sort of on the edge. Okay. Let me look at a similar one. I just want to make sure I'm putting the stripe should go towards the arrow. But I just want to double check. Yep. Stripe goes towards the arrow. Just double checking. Bloop. Gonna grab this. Gonna use our big solder to put that on. Just gonna make sure that's seated properly before I do that. Hello, Chris Jackson. We are just, so far we've swapped flybacks and it seems to have fixed the bulging on the left side of the CRT, but we still have some bulging on the right side of the CRT. So the first thing we're doing, or I guess this is technically the second thing we're doing, is we've now swapped, what diode number is that? CR, oh no, that's not CR3. No, is that CR3? Yeah, CR3. Okay. Okay, we all good? Let's plug a thing in here so I don't electrocute myself. Put the plastic on that, or reduce the chance of electrocuting myself. Is there anything I need to plug in? Steve lost a CRT. A whole monitor or just the tube? Okay. All right, let's go. Oh, it's a 14-inch. 3, 2, 1. I'm having issues with alignment. My depth perception, my dimensional perception is not good. Okay. Oh, definitely still bulging on the right. Oh God. Oh, we moved the screen. Okay, here we go. Oh God, what am I doing? Wrong mouse, John. Yeah. That is definitely bulged on the right. It's just weird that it's not on the left. Okay. Yeah, and I agree, Jack. I think it is actually a little worse. All right. Well, let's shut you off and swap another bit. What bit should we swap this time? I think for this, Wouldn't it be funny if it was a RAM chip? It's not a RAM chip. We swapped the whole analog board. We showed that the problem was due to the analog board and nothing else. It's not a RAM chip, Steve. It's making me crazy. Second guess myself. Because magic. Oh, Steve. Oh, Steve. Alright, so I'm going to loosen up all of the bits. So what I'm going to do, I think I want to change this guy. Let's swap that guy. We're just changing guys, right? Should I put this diode back in there? Since it seemed to be better? Oh, I left the screws on the bottom. Gotta take these off. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Alright, yeah, let's take that little transistor off. Let's see what this guy shows up as. I think it's gonna be a dual diode if I put this in here, right? So this one I'll put in the middle. Put this one here. This one here. Let's see. Yeah, it's showing as 2 diodes. I think that's the horizontal output transformer transistor thing. Okay, let's unsolder you. Jack thinks it's the transistor. I'm gonna put that other diode, the original one, back in there. Oh God. Stuff's falling. Oh, that the right one? Yeah, that's the right one. Okay. This is going to be easier to take out. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Let's take that off. Everything is fine. This means I'm totally going to forget to plug stuff back in when I go to turn this back on. Hello, Rodville. Uh-oh. Issues. Uh-oh. Okay. Come on, Bob. There we go. All right, so this one says BU 406. This one says 406D. That screw and nut. Ooh. Find it kind of interesting that they have the insulation on there, but there's no insulation going through. Maybe that's not really an insulating pad. Maybe it's just a, yeah, no, that would have not been an insulating pad. That one is just a heat transfer pad. Okay, that's fine. Everything is fine. So I'll use the screw that was originally in here. This kind of repair process would drive Adrian from Adrian's Digital Basement nuts. He hates the parts cannon. That's all I know. I'm sorry, internet celebrities. I'm not as good. I'm not good. I only know the parts cannon. All right. Speaking of the opposite of what I just said, doing repairs the right way. If you haven't checked out Justin D. Morgan's adventures with the Macintosh SE, definitely check out his stream from this week. He did some really nice diagnostic work and got his 2SI working, or I guess maybe it was from last week. I think it was whatever one that's labeled 2SI, SIGH. Okay, all right, so the original diode's back in there. Replacement transistor is in there. Oops. Oh God, my diode's sliding out. It's trying to escape. Get back in there, diode. We need you. There we go. Thank you, David Starbuck, for validating my methodology. Heat on this guy. Come on, flow, you jerk. Flow, you jerk. Okay, original diode back in. Transistor from the good board in. Ian Scott, hello. Okay. Oh, this one had a thing, an insulating. What? Why is that an insulating thing? Oh, man. Oh, man. Alright, well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Like, are you just randomly going to avoid shorting that screw out to the big ground? Maybe we should check another one that we haven't fussed with yet. Let's check to see if that screw actually does go to ground, or if we should try to avoid that. Because why else would they have that in there? A nice big plastic washer. So Ian Scott, so what we've done so far is we replaced the flyback and it made it better. Let's say mega ohms. So basically we want to avoid having this screw short out against that, right? So that's just proving that that works. Okay. That is not, it's not as straightforward as you might think. That's weird. It's I803866SX. Hello. Whatever. We'll do it. So basically what we want to do is try to avoid this screw from touching the metal at all. And of course, One Bit for Your Dreams is asking for Macintosh PicoGus. What about a PicoGus MT32? Isn't, oh wait, actually doesn't a MT32 already exist in PicoGus form, or Pico form? Or am I hallucinating that? I will definitely be done by 3 o'clock, Trina. All right, let's double check to make sure this is not shorted out against that. Okay, our screw is shorted out against the thing. Yeah. That seems to be fine. No direct shorts there. Guess we'll find out. Okay. Plugging that in there. Loop you around there. Plugging that in there, plugging that in there. Again, putting all this stuff together, plugging stuff is way easier when it's not fully assembled. Okay. That's all the bits. Now we need all the screws. Make sure our potentiometer's in place. Get in there properly. Make sure that's on there. Okay. Oh, look, I just put the wrong screw in there. This is a fine thread that should hold the power supply in. Sorry, this is kind of tedious. I should probably be really quick at swapping these things by the end of today's stream. How many times have we taken this apart now? I80386SX had a stream last night pairing a hinge on a, oh look, I was doing it again. On a 386 LTE. I gotta go back and watch that. Everyone was doing streams, so I gotta catch up on. Yes, sorry for my haphazard pile of RAM. I was doing a lot of the 386 building stuff this week. And trying to find a full set of matching 8. But I could not. Okay. All right, that's all in place. This is all in place. Gotta put neck board on, anode in, and we're about to find out if I properly isolated that transistor. This one could be a big boom that ends the stream. Yes, Eric, we need you to stream more. We like you streaming, especially Saturday morning cranky Eric. I love Saturday morning cranky Eric. It's one of my favorite things. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, no explosion yet. Hey, the monitor's on. The computer's booting. Again, it's out of, every time you change a thing, it adjusts that little guy. Okay, what do we think? Nope. Left side's still good. Right side is not good. This is fun. This is fun. Okay. Oh, you reminded me of a problem with this computer that I haven't resolved yet. It has 4 megs in it, but it's only seeing 2. Thanks, Steve. All right, we got another diode to try. Let's try that other, more different diode. I don't know how the hell we're going to get that one out of there. I think we'll figure it out. It's a RAM problem. There is a RAM problem. There is a RAM problem. It's not the problem. All right, we got to go to this. Go back to here. So that little diode right there that I'm poking at, got to get him out of there. I can make this any better for y'all. Sorry, this is not the best stuff to try to get on camera. There we go. You can almost see it. So yeah, 1-bit streams, that's awesome. I love 1-bit streams. Good gaming stuff normally. Gonna add a little bit of fresh solder here to try to transfer heat a little bit better. It's okay, Jack. A lot of people fall asleep to my streams. Oh, I should not be doing this with the electric in. Just realized that. Okay. So now what I want to do is try to get the solder away from that hole so it's a little bit easier to put back together. Again, if you had a bigger iron, this would work better. Ah, you jerk. I just like, oh, there's a whole lot on the back. That's our problem. We got a lot of solder on the back. Oh, you jerk. Oh, I just dropped a big blob of solder down in there. Oh, you jerk. That's not good. Where the hell did that go? Oh, bollocks. Oh, I see it. I see it. Where did it go? Where's my tweezers? Ooh. It's a big chunk of solder that was in there. Okay, I think we got all our bits now. Okay, so this was the one that was in there. On the other one, this one says GI182, GI1826. Okay, so these are the same in each position. This is, oh, MR824, W9114. What did the other one say? Okay, so they are the same. So whatever they were, maybe we got to do these in pairs. Well, we'll try this one. We'll put this one in there. And then maybe we'll go back and put both of the diodes from the other board. Maybe they need to work in exact pairs. Yeah, definitely. Everybody wants one of your GamePort parties. Do you have a link 1-bit to where people can purchase them? go. That's in there. Okay. There you go. So we're in. Diode is in. Get that soldered. So they are available at jcm-1.com. And if you're in Canada, just reach out to 1-bit. Gonna let this sit for a second. Sorry, we're out of focus. Okay, that has good connection there. All right, here we go. More different diode. I've got to add electric. Three, two, one. No explosions. Oh, zoom out. And then go to IIvx cam. Oh, I forgot to put the thing on. Come on. I think I see a little bulge. Yep. Definitely bulge. I think it's back to being on both sides now. Oh, wrong mouse. Yeah, it's still definitely more right. So if you look over on the right side here, like at the edges of where this is drawing, see how it bulges out when I move this? It's, the left is still okay. Earlier it was on both sides, and we swapped the analog board, and when we first did it, when we first used the computer today, it was fine. And so I swapped the analog board to one that I know is bad, and it was bulging on both sides. We swapped the Flyback, and it seems to have fixed the left side, but the right side is still bulgy. And this analog board has been recapped, but yeah. Yeah, is it more noticeable in person? It's kind of hard to say. The left side is definitely better. The right side, yeah, it's subtle. It's still something that like would itch at my brain if I were sitting there and using the computer. I'd be like, why is that pushing out over there? All right, let's swap. Let's go back to here. Let's do this other diode again. We'll make sure that we're using the same diode since they're the same. We're technically using two different diodes right now. Oh, uh-oh, my electrical plug just broke. That's not good. ChatGPT thinks it's a RAM issue. Thanks, ChatGPT. That's useful. It's always a RAM issue. Is that why Steve said it was a RAM issue? Oop. Ah, what is going on here? Sorry if my head is in the way, or sorry if I'm just totally off screen. Steve GPT. Maybe ChatGPT asks Steve. Okay. Exactly, David Starbuck. That's the issue, is that there's no getting around flybacks. If a flyback's bad, you're kind of out of luck. Now, one other thing. I was thinking of trying, just to see if it would work, is taking the flyback from a classic and trying it in one of these. And that's not necessarily to fix this issue. It's just to see if it would work. But classics are less valuable. They're easily destroyed, and it would be nice to know if that could be a source of flybacks for these things. So I think we're gonna try that if this doesn't work. Okay, let's put that on the floor. Okay. All right, that's soldered nicely. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay. And that line that you see, that's not that scan line, that's just syncing with the camera. That's not on the actual screen. Yep. Still bulgy. Okay, so it's something else. What else could it be? Yeah, the Dead Max Scrolls suggests Q3, which was one of the things we replaced. It's saying there's a grounding issue, but we're well grounded. CR5 is the the diode that we just replaced. Yeah, the dead Mac scrolls says we've replaced all the things that it theoretically should be. Just saying, push the center of the monitor back in. It's obviously just swollen. Yeah, so I think the flyback had a lot to do with it, but it's not perfect. It's definitely not perfect. Let's shut this down. Let's unplug this. So what do you say? Should we try a flyback from a classic in this guy? Just for poops and giggles? Yeah, we'll go back and talk to Tech Knight again. He was the one that suggested the flyback, and he was correct. It definitely improved it. Hey, it's Socket Wench. All right. So let's try this. Oh, that's a great suggestion. 1-bit. Just use a whole bunch of AA's in a series to get my lots of voltage. We only need, I think on these it's only like 9,000 volts. We're gonna write good on you. Good. 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 As opposed to dead. I love this. All right. What do we have here? Where is that classic? This is an analog board out of a classic that was battery bombed, and I recapped it, and it's still angry. So this is gonna be parts now. We're using you as parts. Oh, no, that's not the right bit. At least we're gonna have a nice little Christmas tree in our desoldering iron today. It is Christmas creep season. Not that, you know, not like creeps, but like creeping. Let's see. Is this... It all looks remarkably the same. 157, 157, so 0121, 0026. Let's write classic on this. Where's the horizontal output? Different. So has anyone Googled whether this swap will work? Maybe ChatGPT has something to say about it. Yeah, lots of coils going places under these things. Lots of wires. Checking to make sure it's sitting flat. Yeah, looks pretty good. Hey, it's Bacchus. Bacchus might know if this is a terrible idea. Can you use the flyback from a classic instead of an SE? Also want to point out that the part number was slightly different between the two analog boards that we used, 0042 versus 0026, but these were interchangeable. Okay. So can we stick a classic flyback in an SE? Google AI says no. Okay. Thank you, Google AI. See, Bacchus is better than Google AI. He remembers everything. They should train those on you, Bacchus. Yeah, I won't be consulting Grokpedia for anything. Okay, that's soldered on there. This would be nice to know if this were a good source of flybacks. Okay. especially since I hate on the Classic so much. I would like to find uses for it. Uh-oh. Ian Scott says they are not compatible. Uh-oh. Well, I tell you what, folks. We are gonna find out here in a second. I think I'm gonna switch this on with my remote switch. It's okay. This is not an SE30. This is just an SE. Okay, we're gonna turn that on. 3, 2, 1. No explosion. No explosion. Yay, main screen turn on. Engage safety squints. Yes, that's what I did. Still bulged. Still bulged. Looks like we're back to bulged on the left a little. David Starbuck, that's a good idea. I did swap a bunch of neck boards, but the analog board is the only thing that we've switched along the way. So the analog board, you know, all the other parts in this computer were the same except for the analog board. And so whatever the issue is, it's on the analog board. So I bet John has already tried this swap. What swap? The Flyback? No, this is my first time trying this one. Yeah, right by the bottom scroll bar. Yeah, it's worse on the right side. It was happier with the SE. You can see a little bit there. This is definitely still better than it was. I think Technite was right that one Flyback was getting tired. But we have, where are we? Our good Flyback. You can't unsee it. Oh, am I missing chat? Oh man, maybe just ignore the bulge. Yeah. Yeah, you could potentially ignore the bulge if you're just gonna use this computer, but if I sell it, I want it to look good for people that buy it. So yeah, so I think what's gonna wind up happening, maybe I'll check some of those other diodes and resistors and stuff and update, but in general, it seemed like the Flyback made a big difference for one of them initially, but not so much. The diodes, the big honking diodes didn't do anything, and the horizontal output transistor did not seem to make a difference. So that was sort of. Yeah, once you see it, it makes your brain itch. So let me show you something else, completely different project. I just want to update you on some other things that I've been working on. Oh yeah, we've been going for over an hour and a half already. So this is the Quadra 650 board that we started working on last weekend, I think it was. And that, you know, I found a bunch of bad traces. I released a short showing my repair process on this. Where's my power supply? Oh, I left it right here where I wanted to use it. And how I finally got this thing to boot. So let me show you what we get out of this guy, because it turns out that I can get it to boot, but we have not completely repaired it. And so I need my geniuses. I need my geniuses. You're all amazing geniuses, and I need you to help me figure out what is happening here, because I am now kind of lost on this one. Let's set our flybacks aside. We don't need these flybacks right now. Garth is definitely one of my geniuses. So got a blue SCSI, got a monitor, got a mouse. We need electric. All right, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I forgot to plug in a speaker, but this probably chimed. I'll get one for next time. A SCSI writer, yeah. It's a little bracket, or it's like a solid PCB to, oh, let's shut that off. Okay, so let's go to here. So this thing will boot. It takes a little while. I currently have a 32 meg stick of RAM in there, so it takes a while. The issue that I'm about to show you happens whether I have extra RAM in, no RAM, just using the onboard 8 megs. So yeah, it was a fight just to get it to this step. So I feel good about this project, but I'm also very frustrated about this project. My camera is sagging. One moment, please. There we go. Can we see the top? There we go. Now you can see the top. So if we go here, control panels, let's go to monitors. You can see we got thousands as our possibility. That's showing that even though I had to take the VRAM sockets off, it's seeing the additional VRAM that I put on there. Normally, if you're only using the onboard, I'm touching my screen. Oh, that's gonna make people's brain itch. If you only use the onboard VRAM, you only get 256 colors. So it's seeing the additional VRAM sims. But watch what happens when we go to date and time. Error type 10. Let's restart. I heard our chime. An i80386SX with the Simpsons reference. Okay, so we'll boot up again. Yes, apparently also last week I pointed with my middle finger. That was not a good thing. Okay, so another thing that I'd done at one point was I used Norton Utilities to scan the hard drive. Norton Utilities booted up, and I did Disk Doctor, and it found some errors, and it fixed them. When I boot it back up, the hard drive had been like totally wiped. So there's something wrong there. So we're not going to do that right now. If we go to where's Snooper? Where is my Snooper? Snooper, there you are. I knew you were right there. Let's go to Snooper. Error type 10. So basically doing some things on this Centris Quadra 610 causes error type 10s. I feel like it has something to do with the real-time clock. The one thing I wanted to check is if that actually saved the date and time of, oh, no, that's not going to work. That's where the most damage on the board was. I swapped it with a different real-time clock. That didn't fix it. But I think what I need to do is kind of figure out where the real-time clock... oh, Bacchus. Thinking the exact same as me with the real-time clock. Okay, so I think it did save the time. I wasn't able to manually change the time, but it it starts counting when you add a battery. So I think it's saving the actual time fine. So let's go back to here. Garth with a really good point, and this is definitely not a bad OS install, something corrupted. I tried multiple OS images that I have that all work fine on other machines, and this is the only machine where it does this issue with. But yeah, that was something I thought of too. So this is the area where I had to do the, well, actually, I mean, up here was where I had to do the most trace repairs. There were 2 up here. There were a couple issues down here. But this is where the real-time clock is. So it's a 344S0042, which is used on, I think, the 2CI and the Mac Classic and some other stuff, the SE30. So I think what I need to do is figure out where this connects to other stuff. There's no schematic for this board, which kind of sucks. But the other thing I kind of noticed is that there did seem to be a little bit of corrosion here around the SCSI chip. And around that, which I think is I think that's the DAC. So I don't know, maybe some corrosion that, I feel like it should be this area since this is where the bad stuff happened. Oh, hello, not sure. Been working on a Trace Repair 386 board. Nice, good job. So yeah, that's what I'm feeling. I guess I'll spend some more time poking at the vias, making sure that all the vias around there are good. Yeah, so the interesting thing about this board is it will not boot without the real-time clock chip installed. And that's a weird one. So like where the 2CI or the Classic, you can boot it without this chip on there. This thing will not do anything without this chip on there. So that's interesting. So yeah, David Starbuck. I have a short showing that all the other diagnoses I did. Basically, I pulled all this RAM off and put a VRAM or a SIM in, and that same issue. I actually took pairs of chips, put them on a SIM, and tested it in a totally different computer. So I know all of these onboard RAM chips are good. So yeah, hey Rudy. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this guy. This one's pretty darn frustrating. Do I have a good 650 board? No. So this is the only 650 board I have, and so this is a unique thing. I put this jumper on here, but I haven't started futzing around with that yet since this and one other thing, you turn this into a Quadra 800 instead of a Quadra 650. It makes it a little bit faster. So yeah, that's where we're at here. In other bad news, so this was the 2VX that we worked on around last Halloween, and it's still sitting in its same sadness. This is my good 2VX, and this is the other 2VX that I got a couple weeks ago. And this one, the caps had leaked, but they weren't that bad. Like there wasn't a ton of corrosion. I haven't been able to find any bad traces. But But this powers on and does nothing. And I have a feeling that the egret chip is toast. The reset does not change when the power gets turned on, which really, really sucks. So again, just to call out to the community, we need egret replacements. I took these chips off just because there was a little gunk and I just wanted to clean up underneath them. I'll put them back on. But I'm pretty sure that our egret is toast here, which kind of sucks. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Some good stuff from last week, some bad stuff from last week, and we still have a slightly bulging CRT in our SE. So, I guess that's going to do it for today. Sorry to end on a downer. And if you want to see a real downer, if you happen to be one of my patrons that gives me money, and I'm sorry I put this behind a paywall, but you know, my house stuff is kind of personal, so I don't just want it generally out there on the internet. Really bad stuff happened in my house construction yesterday, so definitely go check out my Patreon if you are one of my patrons. Go take a look there. Speaking of which, let me say thank you to all my patrons. My Janka crew, Matt Hargett, Gutbomb, Garth Beagle, Brian Garefort, David Starbuck, Ian Scott, Jamie's Hack Shack, All Things DG, Chris Angelis, Tech Ambrosia, Scout, Jack 68K, Bacchus, Asmodeus Deviluke, Alan Gracia, and my Jank team, Hardware Hacker, Mark Kruger, III DIY, Charles Bullock, Dave's Vintage Apple Tech, and Mark from Millennium Max. Thank you all so much for supporting me. It is totally insane that anyone would want to give me money for this mess that we are doing right here. If you want a downer, really visit my channel. I'm sure you are meaning that to be yours, but it's definitely my channel. It's kind of a downer too sometimes. Okay, we're going to get out of here. Have a lovely week, y'all. I might have time to do a weird midweek stream this week. We'll see, so keep your eyes out for that. And as we always say, I appreciate the heck out of all you. But as we always say here at the Big Bad Bench, if you're a Trumper, go F yourself. Have a lovely week, y'all. Thank you.